Michigan is a state in the Great Lakes region of the Upper Midwest region of the United States. It borders Wisconsin to the southwest in the Upper Peninsula, and Indiana and Ohio to the south in the Lower Peninsula. It is also connected by Lakes Superior, Michigan, Huron, and Erie to Minnesota and Illinois, and the Canadian province of Ontario. With a population of nearly 10.12 million and an area of 96,716 square miles and 250,409 square kilometers, Michigan is the 10th largest state by population, the 11th largest by area, and the largest by area east of the Mississippi River. Its capital is Lansing, and its largest city is Detroit. Metro Detroit is among the nation's most populous and largest metropolitan economies. The name derives from a Gallicized variant of the original Ojibwe word Missigami, meaning large water or large lake. Michigan consists of two peninsulas. The Lower Peninsula resembles the shape of a mitten and comprises a majority of the state's land area. The Upper Peninsula, often called the UP, is separated from the Lower Peninsula by the Straits of Mackinac, a 5-mile and 8-kilometer channel that joins Lake Huron to Lake Michigan. The Mackinac Bridge connects the peninsulas. Michigan has the longest freshwater coastline of any political subdivision in the United States, being bordered by 4 of the 5 Great Lakes and Lake St. Clair. It also has 64,980 inland lakes and ponds. Michigan has the second most water area of any state, behind only Alaska. The area was first occupied by a succession of Native American tribes over thousands of years. In the 17th century, French explorers claimed it as part of the New France colony when it was largely inhabited by indigenous peoples. French and Canadian traders and settlers, Antis and others migrated to the area, settling largely along the waterways. After France's defeat in the French and Indian War in 1762, the region came under British rule. Britain ceded the territory to the newly independent United States after its defeat in the American Revolutionary War. The area was part of the larger Northwest Territory until 1800, when Western Michigan became part of the Indiana Territory. Michigan Territory was formed in 1805, but some of the northern border with Canada was not agreed upon until after the War of 1812. Michigan was admitted into the Union in 1837 as the 26th state, a free one. It soon became an important center of industry and trade in the Great Lakes region, attracting immigrants in the late 19th and early 20th centuries from many European countries. Immigrants from Finland, Macedonia, and the Netherlands were especially numerous. Migration from Appalachia and of black Southerners as part of the Great Migration increased in the 1930s, with many settling in Metro Detroit. Although Michigan has developed a diverse economy, in the early 20th century it became widely known as the center of the U.S. automotive industry, which developed as a major national economic force. It is home to the country's 3 major automobile companies whose headquarters are all in Metro Detroit. Once exploited for logging and mining, today the sparsely populated Upper Peninsula is important for tourism because of its abundance of natural resources. The Lower Peninsula is a center of manufacturing, forestry, agriculture, services, and high-tech industry. The American robin Turdus migratorius is a songbird that is native to North America. It is a migratory bird that is found throughout the continent, from northern Alaska to Mexico and the Caribbean Sea. It is the state bird of Connecticut, Michigan, and Wisconsin. American robins are known for their reddish-orange breast, cheery song, and early appearance in the spring. Clematis armandii is a flowering climbing plant of the genus Clematis. Like many members of that genus, it is prized by gardeners for its showy flowers. It is native to much of China and northern Burma. The plant is a woody perennial. It attracts bees, butterflies, and hummingbirds. The eastern white pine Pinus strobus is a large, fast-growing pine tree native to eastern North America. It has a straight trunk, open canopy, and fine feathery needles. The tree is also known as the white pine, northern white pine, Weymouth pine, and soft pine. The eastern white pine is the state tree of Michigan and Maine and the provincial tree of Ontario. There are 83 counties in the U.S. state of Michigan. The boundaries of these counties have not changed substantially since 1897. However, throughout the 19th century, the state legislature frequently adjusted county boundaries. County creation was intended to fulfill the goal of establishing government over unorganized territory, but a more important goal was encouraging settlement by surveying the land and dividing it into saleable sections. The creation of counties generally occurred in 2 stages. First, the boundaries of a county were declared and given a name. the county appeared on maps, even though this may have been the entire extent of a county's tangible existence for several years. During this period, the as yet unorganized county was attached to another already organized county for administrative purposes. The legislature frequently changed the administrative attachment of these unorganized counties. Residents of such an attached county could petition the legislature for organization, which was the granting of full legal recognition to the county. There are many cities and villages that span county boundaries in Michigan, including its capital, Lansing. For a few years during the early 1970s, split cities briefly had authority to petition to change the county boundaries to accord with the city boundaries. The only city to take advantage of this brief opportunity was New Baltimore, previously split between Macomb County and St. Clair County, now completely in Macomb. This transfer of territory from St. Clair to Macomb was the only county boundary change in Michigan since the early 20th century. The state constitution of 1850 permitted an incorporated city with a population of at least 20,000 to be organized into a separate county of its own. The Constitution of 1908 retained this provision, but raised the population threshold to 100,000. No city was ever organized into an independent county in this fashion, and when a new constitution took effect in 1963, the provision was removed. Michigan's boundary with Illinois is formed by Lake Michigan, and 3 counties have water boundaries with Illinois: Berrien County, Van Buren County, and Allegan County. Michigan also has a boundary with Minnesota, which is formed by Lake Superior. The water boundary in this instance is formed by 2 counties, Ontonagon County and Keweenaw County. The land boundary with Wisconsin continues into Lake Superior, involving both Gogebic County, which shares a land border, and Ontonagon County water boundary only.
Top 10 largest cities in Michigan.
Number 10. Macomb, Michigan. Macomb Township is a civil township of Macomb County in the U.S. state of Michigan. The population was 91,663 at the 2020 census, up from 79,580 in 2010. As of 2020, it was the most populous civil township in the state and the 3rd most populous township overall after the charter townships of Clinton and Canton. Number 9. Canton, Michigan. Canton Township, commonly known simply as Canton, is a charter township in Wayne County in the U.S. state of Michigan. A western suburb of Detroit, Canton is located roughly 23 miles 37 kilometers west of downtown Detroit, and 15 miles 24.1 kilometers east of Ann Arbor. As of the 2020 census, the township had a population of 98,659, making it Michigan's 2nd most populated township after Clinton Township and 9th most populated municipality overall. The township is ranked as the 96th highest income place in the United States with a population of 50,000 or more, and is also consistently ranked as one of the safest cities in the state and nation. In 2015, the township was ranked as the 29th safest city in Michigan. Number 8. Clinton Township, Michigan. Clinton Township is a charter township in Macomb County in the U.S. state of Michigan, a northern suburb of Detroit. Clinton Township is located about 22 miles 35 kilometers northeast of downtown Detroit. As of the 2020 census, the township had a population of 100,513, making it the most populous township in Michigan and the state's 8th most populous community overall. Number 7. Dearborn, Michigan. Dearborn is a city in Wayne County, Michigan, United States. It is an inner-ring suburb in Metro Detroit, bordering Detroit to the south and west, and roughly 7 miles and 11.3 kilometers west of downtown Detroit. In the 2020 census, it had a population of 109,976, ranking as the 7th most populous city in Michigan. Dearborn is best known as the hometown of the Ford Motor Company and of its founder, Henry Ford. The first written settlement of Dearborn is from the 18th century by French-Canadian voyageurs who initially called the settlement La Bellefontaine or Place aux Fontaines because of the abundant springs in the city. Therefore, Dearborn was once named Springwells, an anglicization of the French name. The settlement was connected to the Detroit River Ribbon Farm communities and other farms connected to the Rouge River and the Sauk Trail. The community grew in the 19th century with the establishment of the Detroit Arsenal and the Chicago Road linking Detroit and Chicago. In the 20th century, it developed as a major manufacturing hub for the automotive industry. Henry Ford was born on a farm that was once at the intersection of Ford Road and Greenfield Road. Ford later built his estate, Fair Lane, and his River Rouge complex, the largest factory of his empire, in Dearborn. He developed mass production of automobiles and based the world headquarters of the Ford Motor Company here. The city has a campus of the University of Michigan and Henry Ford College. The Henry Ford is the largest indoor-outdoor historic museum complex in the United States and Metro Detroit's leading tourist attraction. Dearborn residents are Americans primarily of European or Middle Eastern ancestry, many descendants of 19th and 20th century immigrants. The census identifies primary European ethnicities as German, Polish, Irish, and Italian. New waves of immigration came from the Middle East in the late 20th century, Muslims and Christians from Lebanon, Palestine, Syria, Iraq, and Yemen. Dearborn has the proportionally largest Muslim population in the United States and the largest mosque in North America. Number 6. Lansing, Michigan. Lansing is the capital of the U.S. state of Michigan and the most populous city in Ingham County. It is mostly in the county, although portions of the city extend west into Eaton County and north into Clinton County. The 2020 census placed the city's population at 112,644, making it the sixth most populous city in Michigan. The population of its Metropolitan Statistical Area (MSA) was 541,297 at the 2020 census, the third largest in the state after metropolitan Detroit and Grand Rapids. It was named the new state capital of Michigan in 1847, 10 years after Michigan became a state. The Lansing metropolitan area, colloquially referred to as Mid-Michigan, is an important center for educational, cultural, governmental, commercial, and industrial functions. Neighboring East Lansing is home to Michigan State University, a public research university with an enrollment of more than 50,000. The area features 2 medical schools, 1 veterinary school, 2 nursing schools, and 2 law schools. It is the site of the Michigan State Capitol, the state's Supreme Court, the Court of Appeals, a federal court, the Library of Michigan and Historical Center, and headquarters of 4 national insurance companies. Lansing is the only U.S. state capital among the 47 located in counties that is not also a county seat. The seat of government of Ingham County is Mason, but the county maintains some offices in Lansing. Number 5. Ann Arbor, Michigan. Ann Arbor is a college town and the county seat of Washtenaw County, Michigan, United States. The 2020 census recorded its population to be 123,851, making it the 5th most populous city in Michigan. It is the principal city of the Ann Arbor metropolitan area, which encompasses all of Washtenaw County and had 372,258 residents in 2020. Ann Arbor is also included in the Detroit and Warren and Ann Arbor Combined Statistical Area and the Great Lakes Megalopolis. Ann Arbor was founded in 1824 by John Allen and Elisha Rumsey. It was named after the wives of the village founders, both named Anne, and the stands of bur oak trees they found at the site of the town. The University of Michigan was established in Ann Arbor in 1837, and the city's population grew at a rapid rate in the early to mid-20th century. The city is currently home to the University of Michigan, which significantly shapes the city's economy, employing about 30,000 workers, which includes about 12,000 in its medical center. Ann Arbor's economy is also centered on high technology, with several companies drawn to the area by the university's research and development infrastructure. The city has been a center for progressive politics as well as several social and religious movements. Number 4. Sterling Heights, Michigan. Sterling Heights is a city in Macomb County in the U.S. state of Michigan, a northern suburb of Detroit. Sterling Heights is located roughly 18 miles 29 kilometers north of downtown Detroit. As of the 2020 census, the city had a population of 134,346, placing Sterling Heights as the second largest suburb of Detroit and the 4th most populous city in Michigan. Number 3. Warren, Michigan. Warren is a city in Macomb County in the U.S. state of Michigan, an inner-ring suburb of Detroit. Warren borders Detroit to the north, roughly 13 miles and 20.9 kilometers north of downtown Detroit. The population was 139,387 at the 2020 census, making Warren the largest community in Macomb County, the 3rd largest city in Michigan, and Detroit's largest suburb. The city is home to a wide variety of businesses, including the General Motors Technical Center, the United States Army Detroit Arsenal, home of the United States Army TACOM Life Cycle Management Command, the Tank Automotive Research, Development and Engineering Center TARDEC, and the headquarters of Asset Acceptance. Number 2. Grand Rapids, Michigan. Grand Rapids is a city in and county seat of Kent County, Michigan, United States. At the 2020 census, the city had a population of 198,893, making it the 2nd most populous city in Michigan, after Detroit. Grand Rapids is the central city of the Grand Rapids metropolitan area, which has a population of 1,162,950 and a combined statistical area population of 1,502,552. Located 161 miles 259 kilometers northwest of Detroit, Grand Rapids is situated along the Grand River approximately 25 miles 40 kilometers east of Lake Michigan. It is the economic and cultural hub of West Michigan. A historic furniture manufacturing center, Grand Rapids is home to 5 of the world's leading office furniture companies and is nicknamed Furniture City. As a result of the numerous micro and craft breweries, many with notable reputations nationally and globally, Grand Rapids is also known as Beer City, USA. Due to the prominence of the Grand River, many local businesses and civic organizations use the moniker River City in their names. The city and surrounding communities are economically diverse, based in the healthcare, information technology, automotive, aviation, and consumer goods manufacturing industries, among others. Grand Rapids was the childhood home of U.S. President Gerald Ford, who is buried with his wife Betty on the grounds of the Gerald R. Ford Presidential Museum in this city. The city's Gerald R. Ford International Airport and Gerald R. Ford Freeway are named after him. Number 1. Detroit, Michigan. Detroit is the most populous city in the U.S. state of Michigan. It is the largest U.S. city on the Canadian border and the county seat of Wayne County. Detroit had a population of 639,111 at the 2020 census, making it the 26th most populous city in the United States. The Metro Detroit area, home to 4.3 million people, is the second largest in the Midwest after the Chicago metropolitan area and the 14th largest in the United States. A significant cultural center, Detroit is known for its contributions to music, art, architecture, and design, in addition to its historical automotive background. In 1701, Antoine de la Motte Cadillac and Alphonse de Tony founded Ford Pontchartrain du Detroit. During the late 19th and early 20th century, it became an important industrial hub at the center of the Great Lakes region. The city's population rose to be the 4th largest in the nation by 1,920, after New York City, Chicago, and Philadelphia, with the expansion of the automotive industry in the early 20th century. One of its main features, the Detroit River, became the busiest commercial hub in the world, carrying over 65 million tons of shipping commerce each year. In the mid-20th century, Detroit entered a state of urban decay which has continued to the present as a result of industrial restructuring, the loss of jobs in the auto industry, and rapid suburbanization. Since reaching a peak of 1.85 million at the 1950 census, Detroit's population has declined by more than 65%. In 2013, Detroit became the largest U.S. city to file for bankruptcy, but successfully exited in December 2014. Detroit is a port on the Detroit River, one of the 4 major straits that connect the Great Lakes system to the St. Lawrence Seaway. The city anchors the 3rd largest regional economy in the Midwest and the 16th largest in the United States. It is also best known as the center of the U.S. automotive industry, and the big 3 auto manufacturers General Motors, Ford, and Stellantis North America Chrysler are all headquartered in Metro Detroit. It houses the Detroit Metropolitan Airport, one of the most important hub airports in the United States. Detroit and its neighboring Canadian city Windsor constitute the 2nd busiest international crossing in North America, after San Diego and Tijuana. Detroit's culture is marked with diversity, having both local and international influences. Detroit gave rise to the music genres of Motown and techno, and also played an important role in the development of jazz, hip-hop, rock, and punk. A globally unique stock of architectural monuments and historic places was the result of the city's rapid growth in its boom years. Since the 2000s, conservation efforts have managed to save many architectural pieces and achieve several large-scale revitalizations, including the restoration of several historic theaters and entertainment venues, high-rise renovations, new sports stadiums, and a riverfront revitalization project. Detroit is an increasingly popular tourist destination which caters to about 16 million visitors per year. In 2015, Detroit was given a name called City of Design by Unease Co., the first and only U.S. city to receive that designation.